Tall Paul Joseph, to use a World Series analogy,
Yes.
no warming up in the bullpen.
No, not for us. We jump into it head on. And unlike the Dodgers, we use our frontline guys.
Well, yes,
me.
we use you, Tall Paul Joseph, and me,
Yeah.
Jack Silver. And, 2020 has been a hard year on all of us, Paul.
Woo.
Says Jason Momoa of Aquaman fame. I love these memes, man. Whoever does this crap is funny.
Yeah.
You don't know who? That's not Jason Momoa, obviously.
Of course.
Do you know who that is?
I have no idea. It looks like an old wrestler or something.
Oh, correct. Let me think. Hold on.
Who is it?
No, it's a porn star.
Is that Ron?
Ron Jeremy.
Jeremy? Oh my God. Are you kidding?
Well, yes. No, I'm not kidding. That's Ron Jeremy. And he looks really bad. And he even looks worse because he's in the slammer right now, awaiting trial on many, many counts of bad things. Let's just say that.
I can imagine what he's being counted for. And
I totally spaced on him. I've seen him at parties over the years and stuff, and he's kind of a freak. But I love that 2020 has been hard on all of us.
Yeah.
So says Jason Momoa. And then while we're at it, breaking news.
What do we have?
Well, the First Lady. Basically,
they have similar hair and cheek structure. Although, I love this guy. He's my idol, of course.
Steven Tyler of Aerosmith. For those of you that don't know who this guy is.
My Steeler, why this is up, and not to get away from the meme, because I love the idea that this is the First Lady with a little stress on her. I was doing Wango Tango here in Los Angeles and producing that. And we had him as a featured, he and his band as a featured guest on the show. And they were getting ready to perform, but we were standing in a circle talking. And he's so amazing because he's talking to all of us. He's got his band around him. And while he's talking to us, and just an unrelated story, I forget what we were talking about, but he takes out his earpiece and he wants to clean it. And he reaches over to his drummer's t-shirt while he's talking to us. And he's using his drummer's t-shirt to clean his earpiece like this. And he's talking, he's saying, that's great. And we're going to get that done, just like he does that every day. And then he sticks it back in his ear and he says, well, I guess we're ready. I mean, that to me is like, first of all, the drummer is so cool to let him do that. Secondly, I mean, how at peace is he with his own band that he can do that kind of stuff?
Well, I've seen Aerosmith in concert a bunch of times and they're amazing. And just those funny memes, just to get the ball rolling. It's the Producer Podcast. Paul, it's season 2, episode 5.
Wait a minute.
I know it's a lot of counting, and I apologize.
Yeah, I mean, you love the counting and all that. It's good. I'm glad.
You got to mark time. I'm Jack Silver. He's Tall Paul Joseph. A couple producers who we're going to kill about a half an hour with some good stuff for you. And
we've crossed over. We've done a lot of on-air stuff in our day, but now we thought it's time. So we need relief. We need fun.
During this COVID, you need 30 minutes to kill and have some fun. And again, like I've said also before, if 1,300,000 podcasts can be produced every week, we can add one more to it.
1,300,001 is a good one.
And what we like to do when we start the podcast is we always have to check in on Paul's life because it's quite a circus out there at the Joseph household. What the hell is going on now, Paul?
Well, as you know, I'm trying to remodel my kitchen, which, by the way, never do it.
I think that's definitely the lesson. That's the lesson that we're all going to take away from this thing.
Oh yeah, this is the lesson. The horror stories that I could tell, and I am telling you, like this. Yesterday, I waited all day. There was supposed to be a plumbing technician come by. Every 2 hours, they were really good about updating me, saying, he's got 3 more than he's to you. He's got 2 more than he's to you.
Sure.
This went on from 11 a.m. Now, 7:30, 7:45 at night, they call me. They say, 1 more and he's to you. I said, hold it. I said, no. I said, no more and he's to me. I said, you've kept me on a string all day. Let's not do this. Let's do it at 8 a.m. Can he be here at 8 a.m. sharp?
Yeah.
Okay, fast forward to 8 a.m. He's not here. I call and they say, I don't know who told you that, but we can never do it at 8 a.m. because they have a meeting. But he'll be here. He'll be there by 10:30. Okay, well, he did come at 10:30. Nice guy. I like the company, everything. Yeah. But that's just the other horror story. I wake up this morning and I hear this noise. My dog's barking. I go out. Now we have people here doing tile, all kinds of stuff. So we have our portalette, as I like to call it, our little potty, plastic potty.
As I call it, it's a porta potty, Paul.
That's what
it's not a portalette. I'm not exactly sure where you learned that word, but
a portalette. But anyway, my portalette at 7:30, my dog's barking is all the way down my driveway by this bearded guy, and he's got it on a two-wheeler. And I go, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Does he work with the company?
Oh. He says, I got the call. He said, we're supposed to pick this up. I said, no. I said, meanwhile, by the way, as they transport those things, I have the insides, I'll just leave it at that, the liquid is flowing out of it on my driveway. Wow. And now this guy's carrying it. I'm going, no, you can't take that yet. I have a whole crew coming today. Yeah. And he's going, I have to check with my boss. So now it's sitting out in the street. He's got a truck full of them, and he's on the phone. Right. This is all going on 7:30. Anyhow, resolved that, got it back up here by 8:15. So now my driveway's filled with urine, a nice flow of urine down. Now that's got to be cleaned off.
That's a hell of a visual.
Yeah, just fantastic, But let's move away from that. I want to talk about the Dodgers because I was so frustrated, and I'm a Dodger fan, by the fact that game one, of course, we won with Kershaw, great job. Game two, the brain trust, Dave Roberts mainly, decided to try to cheat and win a game with the bullpen and not use a starter. Well, as we all know, that backfired because he didn't even use our strongest starters. Yeah. I mean, bullpen. He tried to save Gatterall and Jansen and all those guys, and he tried to go with the lesser guys to cheat and win. And
you have a problem with that?
Yeah. Had he have used Buehler, who's now going to pitch tonight, we'd be 2-0, chances are, and have our foot on their neck. Instead, we're starting over a 5-game series. That's all we have now because we each have one game. And it makes it much more difficult. It was a stupid move. I don't know what he was thinking to do that. It backfired on him. He didn't win anything. And now we have to hope that Buehler can carry us through because we don't have a lot of starters apparently.
Here's what I know.
Yeah,
the Dodgers have been in the postseason, I think, 7 of the last 8 years, and they've come close. But I think let me just rest your fears,
please,
because we haven't had Mookie Betts before. No. We haven't had some of these guys, and I think that Tampa Bay looks like a high school team that just happened to stumble onto a field because I don't recognize one name, and unfortunately, like all of the sports, the ratings are down. Yeah. There's only about 9 million people watching the first game of the World Series. So take it easy, Paul. I think you're going to get a championship from the Dodgers, just like you had from the Lakers. But just like all sports, you have to kind of go through the stomach churning and screaming at the TV and saying Dave Roberts doesn't know what he's doing and wondering where the pitching is. Right. But I think, and I feel pretty good about it, I think you're going to have a championship for the Dodgers, just like you had the Lakers.
To God's ear from your
that ought to make you happy.
That does make me happy. Right. I'm now happy.
Okay. Well, now speaking of sports, by the way, real quick, and then we've got a lot of things to get to. I play golf every Sunday.
Yes, you do.
And even through the pandemic, it's been one of the first things that you were able to do because it's outside. Obviously, you're socially distancing. You've got hundreds of yards between you and the hole. And oftentimes we would take the cart. We would walk, which was good for exercise. Yeah. But then some courses don't allow you to do that, or they're just too hilly. Oh. So you go back to the driving cart. So recently,
you're not the best driver to start with, Jack.
Well, I'm a bad car. I can barely drive a car, let alone a golf cart. and I'll tell you the story. Yeah. So about last week, played at a course, and everybody has their own cart. Now that's the one thing. You don't even share the cart anymore. It's just you by yourself.
Okay.
So it's 4 of us. So you're driving. And what they do is to get on and off the course, they put up these poles to try to route you so that the grass can grow properly. And you go driving. So you hit your ball, you go into the course where the poles are, and you exit the course closer to the hole, to the green, through these poles. Yeah. So I follow rules. I'm a checklist person.
Yes, you are.
I figure, what the hell? So I'm following the thing, and on one of the holes, I see that to get to the green, you have to follow these 2 poles. So I drive through the pole, poles, excuse me. And then I notice I'm going downhill.
Oh.
And then I notice that they've routed me not only down a hill, but a huge crevice, like a crater.
Yeah.
So I'm like this, Paul. I'm ready to drive. I'm going through the hole, the poles, and all of a sudden the thing is going straight downhill.
Oh my God.
Hits the crater.
Yeah.
I bounce up like this. My feet go out of the cart, come back in the cart, and I finally bring the thing to a screeching halt.
Oh my God.
Now,
those things are dangerous.
Well, they are, especially when Jack Silver's driving them, because I'm not a good driver.
You don't want that.
But Paul, they routed me directly into death's doorstep.
So they didn't check their course. They just kind of did it, and they didn't really check to see if there's holes or whatever. You know?
And they shouldn't take you into a downhill spiral, a death spiral.
No, not a roller coaster.
No, it's not a roller coaster. And I didn't sign up for that crap. So my advice to that golf course is, before you put up those poles, route an idiot like me into following the rules. Make sure there's not a huge crevice, like a crater, about a 10-foot crater that I bottomed out.
Oh my God.
It could have really hurt this mug. Maybe have done a little better if I'd have smacked it a little bit. But
you sure that wasn't a divot from the last time you played there?
If this was a divot, Paul, somebody's got to take some lessons.
Yeah. Well, the best thing is, to the golf club, whomever you are, assign Jack a driver. Do everybody a favor.
Yeah, please do. Don't let me drive the cart by myself.
Don't give him the keys to a cart.
It's not a good thing. All right, so that's that. All right, well,
I'm glad you're safe.
Well, by the way, just one last tie a bow around it. I like to.
Yeah.
I could have smacked my head. I could have come flying out of the golf cart. The thing could have fallen. I mean, luckily nothing happened, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But bad things could have happened, and I'll be walking the course from now on. I know how to walk without getting hurt. Now, Paul, you've done a great job of finding the ridiculous commercials to share with our audience.
Of the week, yeah. Thank you.
And let me see if I can dial this back.
This one, let me set it up a bit. One that irritates me because, first of all, I think we all love Tom Selleck. He's a great guy, and his constant shows, Magnum PI, his new show that he's had on now, it's not new anymore. In Boston, he's a cop. It's been on for years. He's great. But this one bothered me because, first of all, I don't know if he's trying to act older. Take that shot right there. I don't know if he's trying to act older than he is, because this is about reverse mortgages. Yeah. But to start with, watch the way he sits down. It's like, I don't know if he has a hemorrhoid problem or if he's trying to act like he does, but nobody sits like this. But watch as he sets his hat down and he sits down.
1961 when Nellie Young lost her devoted husband.
What's this? So there's Nellie Young. It's about her. And then it goes to Tom. Now watch this sitting. He goes one foot, the other foot up, and then kind of sitting down. Like, I mean, what is that? I mean, really, what is that? Nobody kind of rocks one way, then the other way, then sits down.
I think to your point, he's trying to look a little older, and maybe he's got a bad tuchus. Maybe he can't sit down so well.
Well, maybe, I mean, there's something going on with that because a reverse mortgage, is what he's talking about, but he's acting like there's a hemorrhoidectomy or something.
Okay, so it keeps it. So
her husband had been a high school football coach, and it turned out one of his former players came up with an answer: a loan created just for older homeowners.
Okay, he's got his story where Nellie Young was the lady that they showed, the older lady. She lost her husband, but he was a high school football coach supposedly, and one of his players came up with an idea for a loan for older people. And this was the first reverse mortgage.
Now, I've done
back in 1961, he says, got the very first reverse mortgage.
I've done a little research on the reverse mortgages.
What do you think?
They can be good, but they have a lot of hidden fees. The rates are pretty high. And if anybody's thinking about it, they really should do a lot of research. But Tom Selleck, the guy looks damn good, Paul.
That's what my point is. So why they act with the bad sitting and all that? Because he's a good-looking guy. He's he's got a lot there. And then my next question is, where is he? you know?
Well, he's in some on Golden Pond.
No, he's not. He's in the Jungle Cruise at Disneyland. I mean, seriously. I mean, look at this. Look at this. You know, move it forward. You'll see that. Well, there's Nellie again. God bless her soul.
Oh, yeah, this is the granny. This is what you had me forward fast to here. Oh, here he is.
Yeah.
When you need it. It's
Look,
about making your
he's really doing his best acting too. He looks away. He looks back at the camera.
And then, of course, they break out the DVDs. Like, first of all, who's even got a DVD player anymore? Start with that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Nellie Young had one back in the day, but you know, this is
Sure
not
did.
1961. So, yeah, and he looks good. He looks fresh in
No,
there.
it was good. By the way, and one other thing, as someone with a gray hair, excuse me.
Yeah.
He's using some real good Grecian formula right here, my brother.
Well, yeah, he's really going at it, and he must be doing the mustache too, right?
Oh, you got to, and even the eyebrows, because trust me when I tell you, you can't get that just normally.
Yeah, he's got.
Yeah. All right. So then you wanted me to forward fast to right about here. Oh.
A lot's changed.
Oh yeah, that shot. You see that? I mean, where is he? That was my thing. After we get past the hemorrhoids and the acting and all that stuff, where is that? I mean, nobody has that.
I don't know. That's a beautiful little venue. It's
yeah, but there's a little chair out there on some deck, you know, on a green. By the way, you wouldn't want to fall in that water. That looks
no.
algae filled.
1961.
Yeah.
Since then, over 1 million older Americans have used a reverse mortgage loan to finance their retirement.
Yeah.
Now my problem is, and we can tie a bow around this bad boy, because these are these 2-minute commercials, Paul.
Yes.
So they've got a lot of time to fill. So they got the guitar music and our boy. By the way, that's enough. I can't look at him anymore.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah, he's done. But but they have so much time to fill.
Yeah.
That they really stretch it out, and it's ridiculous in that way.
Yeah.
And then lastly, again, if you're going to think about a reverse mortgage, and believe me, I'm not a certified public accountant. I would certainly everything I read said, read up on it, make sure that you check the fine print, because evidently the rates are very high and there's a lot of hidden fees.
Oh, really?
And you don't want old Nellie to be booted out of her house.
Well, Nellie, first of all, Nellie Young, the name they used from 1961, indicates two things. You know, Nellie, that name is a really old name. Nobody knows the kid Nellie. Secondly, she's not young. Nellie Young is not young.
No.
So, you know, yeah, but you're right. Get a lawyer to look it over, probably, because, you know, who knows what fees are in there, and you could lose your house or something. Yeah,
it's a way to get cash for your retirement. But what I read, because I knew we were doing this bit, it just kept saying, check with an accountant, check with a lawyer, double check, triple check. And then if it's right for you, go for it. But Tommy Selleck, really appreciate you sitting on Golden Pond.
Golden Pond with the hemorrhoids and the whole thing. Yeah, we appreciate all of it, Tommy. And we love you. And we love the Grecian 44, or whatever you're using.
How you pull that racket off at your age. And now, last thing about that, on TV, that stuff looks pretty good, believe it or not. When you see a fella, you know, like Tom Selleck, in person, that jet black hair, mustache, eyebrows, it's a little unsettling.
And by the way, I have, like you say, I've seen that, and you're right. It's an unnatural black. I mean, it's like I don't know how to describe it, except say maybe it's like a charcoal black or something, or tar. It's a weird colored black. God
didn't put out charcoal black for a hair color.
I've never seen that.
That on a driver's license. I got one more to share with you, Paul, because this was a story of the week, and you know, I don't know how the heck this happened.
Yeah.
But there was a guy who I'd never heard of named Jeffrey Toobin. It's this guy. Do you know who this is?
Yeah, I've seen this character. And
this character. Well, I've done a little research for the Producers Podcast, because, you know, as producers, we're supposed to do a little research.
Good boy.
And his name is Jeffrey Lubin. Toobin, excuse me. He was Lubin, as it turned out. He works for CNN and also the New Yorker magazine.
Right.
And evidently, Jeffrey was on a Zoom call, similar to what we're doing for the Producers Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And evidently, he broke about 85 rules of Zoom calls.
Oh, really?
And the main one is do not masturbate
What?
during
Hold on a second.
during the Zoom call.
During the Zoom call? Wait, so this was Jeffrey Lubin the Tubin? Is that what you call him? He was seriously doing that?
Again, doing a little research, and here's the key for the young producers in the audience. Don't do too much research because it kind of bogs you down with facts.
Right.
But the way I heard it was he was on a conference call with his coworkers.
Okay.
A Zoom call.
Okay.
And you know how there's boxes, just like how we're doing now.
Yeah.
And evidently there was maybe 6 or 8 people on the call, reporters, and they were doing some sort of brainstorming session for an upcoming column or show idea. Now this man, for lack of a better phrase,
Call him a character.
I'm not sure what to call him,
Yeah.
but he thought he was off the screen or something, like he had muted his video.
Oh, okay.
Okay, which is fine. So maybe you got to go to the restroom. Maybe you're making a pizza. You want to have a little bite to eat. He chose to take his hand and slide it in his slacks and proceed to masturbate.
On camera.
Well, he didn't think he was on camera, but he was. Others saw, and I guess they said, "Hey, Jeff, you might not know this, but your trousers are around your ankles."
This is preposterous. I've never heard of anything like this.
And you're pleasuring yourself. So to your point, a couple things.
Yeah.
I've never heard of such a thing either.
No.
If you're in such a rush to do that,
yeah,
you got a problem because there's 24 hours in a day.
Right.
You can carve out 30 minutes for the Zoom call.
Yeah.
And then you've got another 23 and a half hours to have at it.
Yeah, to carve out whatever you want.
There's no problem.
But what was the dialogue that stimulated him to this degree? I mean, that's what I'm wondering. I mean, what were they talking about that got him into this mood?
And the reason I love this story, Paul, is because there's 85 angles, like you just said. What was the conversation? Was it a sexy, or it's New Yorker magazine.
I know.
It's the most stuffy.
There's nothing.
No one reads it.
No.
And so either were they talking dirty? Were they making sexy innuendos? Was one of the women or man, whatever his preference is, were one of them, were they so sexy that you just had, was one of the editors of the New Yorker magazine just so scary sexy?
That he couldn't wait?
Huh?
Wow, he just couldn't wait.
He just couldn't wait.
Did he get fired or, relieved of his position?
Now that's another great question, which begs to be asked. And the answer is yes. And not only did he get fired, he got fired from 2 jobs. 2? From the New Yorker magazine and CNN. And of course, we're going to give Jeffrey some time off to reevaluate. And of course, he did the apology, the empty apology. Like
I would love to hear that. What did his apology say?
It was basically, I apologized to my wife and kids, and I did a stupid thing and everything. But there again, it's another one of my rules, Paul.
Yeah.
If you have a good job, don't screw it up. But I'll add something to it. If you have 2 good jobs, the New Yorker magazine and CNN,
2 good jobs. Yeah.
Don't lose it over pleasuring yourself at the drop of a hat.
No. Or the drop of a Zoomcast or whatever it happens to be.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. I don't know what was in the guy's mind. But there again, it's just one of the many things, like we look at these things and we go, why would a person actually do that?
Right.
What's going on in their life that they feel necessary that has to be done at that time, in that place? It's nuts.
It is nuts. And and the other part of it, I think, is that also Jeffrey looks to be in his late 50s. Let's just say that. He's no spring chicken.
I think you're being kind, but go ahead.
One more time, just to remind you who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This guy.
Right there. Yeah. Okay. I think he's well into his early 60s.
Okay. Well, my advice would be to go. Maybe you don't understand the medium. If you don't understand what Zoom is and when you're on the screen, when you're not on the screen, when you've muted the video, when you've not muted the video, I would suggest find a young person.
How about that?
A kid who's really good at Zoom, or do some research on, because Zoom has all sorts of tips on how to do the Zoom calls.
Right.
And I'm sure one of them says, keep your slacks on.
Got to have one that says that.
Keep your trousers on.
Yeah.
But if you're in such a dire need to have your hands on your private area,
right? Maybe
click this, end the call, do something, or put like you can do this. Cover the actual camera.
Excuse yourself.
Use
your mask. Do that.
So I was totally mesmerized with the news story that came out about that.
Yeah.
And all I can say is for you young producers at home or anybody watching the podcast, set aside a few minutes for that.
Away from everything else.
Away from everything else.
Do us all a favor. Nobody really wants to see that.
No.
And if you do want to see that, there are places I'm sure you can go to see that, but certainly not a Zoom call, a business call is one of them. Unless you want to get fired. Maybe he did. Maybe
if he wanted to be fired, he did a great job. And that's a great way to end the podcast, Paul.
No, I can't.
I don't know. I don't know where you can go after that nonsense. So let's do this. Let's hope that we get the Dodgers to win a World Series.
Yes.
Got your hat. Let's hope your house gets out of the crazy plumbers and porta potties and everything.
I'll keep you posted on that one.
Thank you. Let's hope that Jack Silver can learn how to drive a golf cart and not kill himself.
Or be driven, because trust me, Jack's driving. It's better if he has a driver.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
A high five or a tip of the hat to Tom Selleck for sharing his insight on reverse mortgages.
And good luck with the hemorrhoids.
Right. And lastly, Jeffrey Toobin, thanks for the material. You did.
Oh, Lubin Toobin. That's your nickname now, buddy. Good job. And good luck getting the job, because who would hire you?
Well, Pee Wee Herman, remember him when he did that in a movie theater?
Yes.
He hasn't really been heard from since, Paul.
That was kind of the end of Pee Wee.
Yeah.
You know?
All
And
right, buddy.
that's a funny name to add to Lubin Toobin, so that's a good way to end this.
Attaboy. We're good catching up. We'll see you guys next time. He's Tall Paul Joseph, Jack Silver. It's the Producers Podcast. We'll catch you down the road.
Go Dodgers.
Go Dodgers.